can be different, especially with drones. The one which fell in my house. And I got called and she said that war started. I'm like, oh, you're the fastest source of information. And she said, okay, move maybe to your parents. Yes, go somewhere. Okay, I shall. I would still not believe it. Still thinking like it will, end soon, few days maybe. And that actually got also some delayed stress response in my body.
Like what?
Severe one that I had. I started having issues with sleep. I started having tachycardia. Of course, loss of appetite, loss of weight. Like you can imagine, you just...
Personally, I feel motivation is a very fake concept. Can teach me better.
It can be about doctors.
Doctors as well, yeah.
And they really might have even education degree, or something, but still harm people. Especially for the miners. I also was so afraid that I deliver something wrong and then they learn wrong way of doing something. But
she taught people how not to die. Landmines and unexploded ordnance. Places where one wrong step can be, it's not only anxiety, but can be devastated, amputated, or even worse. Today she teaches people to dance with fear. She spent several years in places where fear is real, rational, and necessary. And this conversation is not usual coaching talk. It's more than that.
So guys, today the conversation which we are going to have is not just a normal conversation. It is about knowing more about fear. Because when you know fear, then only you can conquer that. So with great pride, let's welcome Anastasia with us.
Anastasia, welcome to the show.
thank you so much, ladies. I'm happy to be here.
So I wanted to ask you from the start, because people say I'm scared right now. I have this situation happen to me and I'm feeling very scared. But sometimes I think this scared word is very confusing word for people, right? Because for me, especially, maybe I have anxiety or maybe I have depression and I still call it fear. What fear means to you?
Thank you for this question. I would say it's pretty basic one. Is to understand the nature of fear. And as I also like to tell and explain more, that it's totally fine to be afraid and to have fear, because otherwise we will not survive.
Yeah.
But fear comes normally when there is some threat at the moment. Anxiety, on the other hand, comes about possible fear or projection of fear. So maybe it happens in the future or maybe not. But we already feel stressed, like, oh my God, maybe it will happen. And that's when anxiety steps in and make us feel way worse than we should normally do, because there is no direct threat in the moment. But we already imagine that they are, just in case they really come.
So do you feel that anxiety is one step lesser than fear? Maybe first you have anxiety and then maybe you have a real fear. That's how you differentiate between that?
I would say a little bit different than at the moment. If there is a reason to be afraid, then we feel fear. Yes, for example, let's say car driving towards you. Of course, our immediate instinct would be to jump away from the road to protect ourselves. So we got afraid that we just now would be getting hit or something.
Yeah.
But anxiety, that's about, what if my manager will not like my performance at work? What if they will not raise my salary? What if, I don't know, someone will not approve some of my actions?
Or maybe I got fired or something.
Exactly.
That's the biggest one.
Exactly. So let's say there is no currently like reasons or situations or occasions why you should feel this way.
Yeah.
But you already prepare yourself in case you get fired, in case you will fail. And then your brain will be, I told you. Oh, I prepared already. I did not go as we planned. So that's why I already made you scared at the moment. So anxiety, actually, that's what ruins our daily life. And fear is our, say, natural response to actual threat.
So when actually you said like sometimes it's overthinking as well, right? When you are, that some maybe manager of yours sent you an email and suddenly you realize that, oh my God, I have a deadline and I cannot make it because I have a lot of other things to do. And these kind of fear, it's some kind of something here happens to you, right? And you actually don't want to feel this way. And I think many people can relate to it, because I think every single person who work in a corporation, they feel once in a while, right? And if we wanted to know like how to tackle in that situation, our fear, especially like fear for unknown, like there is nothing to be afraid about, but we are still getting scared. How we can make ourselves relax at that moment when it's happening to us?
That's a good question, because first of all, we need to learn how to rationalize our fear.
Mhm.
Our brain likes to imagine things, likes to make them looking worse than they are or than they even ever will be or
Yeah.
might be. So that's when our rational part of the brain switched off. So it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So we get this fight or flight, or even there are, say, 4 more stress response, but we just don't think rationally in the moment. And we have to consciously choose to think rationally. So we go to our part of the brain and switch it on. How? By first of all, talking to yourself or writing things down, asking questions. Like,
Yeah.
what exactly will happen? Do I imagine that, or is it like true? Is it a fact, or it's my projection? Or what's really behind it? Or like I mentioned before, when we were talking behind the scenes about 3 simple questions. Okay, what's the worst outcome? And that your brain will be like, oh, everything will be so bad. Okay, what's the best outcome? Then you change the focus.
Yeah.
And then what's the most realistic outcome? And then your brain thinks different. It's like, okay, something new question. We haven't talked about before. And by such questions, by division or by writing down, especially by hand, things like, okay, what can I do? What depends on me? Something like that. You kind of minimize that fear, because quite often it's like, these typical pictures of fear, like some scary monster. It's like that in our brain, but in fact, it can be something like that very small.
Yeah.
And this can be something useful and powerful that will make you prepare more, and care more. And it's good, actually, because then you'll perform way better. But we imagine like it's, oh my God, it's so bad, so horrible. That's how we need to cut it down by rationalizing.
That's a very great answer. But you know what? In practical life, life doesn't gives you much time. Sometimes you have something at random stage. So, for example, something happened just now and I'm scared and I have to give a response as well. So it's like fear at the same time, but also you have to be a responsive person at the same time. So how do you manage that? I mean, what advice would you give to people when they have to perform also, but they are scared? So opposite emotions at the same time. So
And
how do you
sometimes,
manage?
sometimes people freeze even though situations like this.
Exactly. You don't have enough time to maybe write down, to arrange yourself, arrange your thoughts. So then what should be done?
To do it at home beforehand, like home task.
No, but I mean, the question is more about you cannot project what is coming to you, right? So all what you have planned is very great when you know what is coming to you. But sometimes life can be a very random scenario. Then what should be the course of action?
Yeah, of course, we don't live in a perfect world where you just prepare everything in theory and then in real life, you're like a great student. No. You can be in theory the best and practice not really. So first of all, fear feels so physical. I think you can relate to that.
Yeah.
Heartbeat, adrenaline rush, sweating or different symptoms, yes, can be so physical, like exhausting actually. And in the moment, also your body can react so strongly that you need to know how to cope with it. And that's when you need to regulate it. By how? First of all, breathing. We really underestimate this technique. Sometimes we think we breathe all the time, so what's so important about it? Not really. When we start breathing consciously, also, for example, like it's called square breathing. For example, for 4 seconds, you inhale, then you keep it for 4 seconds, then exhale for 4 seconds, then again keep, or 3, 6, 9 seconds. Also, it's different techniques which switch on certain parts in our body and really calms our body. So it's like you just breathe, nothing special. But at the same time, your nervous system, because that's the one which reacts to everything scary around us, start calming down. And again, then your more rational part come in, where you can more, let's say, negotiate with yourself. Like, okay, now the situation is so bad, or okay, I'm failing, or something bad is really going on. Okay, it's fine. I will prepare. What can I do? You start talking to yourself, to that part of the brain which is switched off, because it's like tiny path to that in the situation like that. Or also one of my favorite techniques, and I know also many people like it so much, when you're stressed or scared or if you feel there's some strong emotions and you cannot really release them now, like in the moment you have to be present, yes, or maybe in the best case go to some tiny room for a few seconds or minutes. You have to squeeze your whole body, whole muscles, like everything so strongly from toe to head for a few seconds and then release. It also, again, calms you down.
Like you have to lie down on a floor, or how?
You can stand.
Squeeze yourself. Like squeeze like this?
No, like muscles, like
It's like
everything.
okay.
If you have more time, like how I also trained before people, you start slowly, like feet, ankles, hips, belly, etc. You just practice like that. But in the moment when you just really have to do something about your condition, you can do it right away, this whole body. But preferably to start, from up to down. And it's really powerful release of that, adrenaline, etc. And that's actually also what helps you like calm down. It's like cold shower in the moment, I would say. It's such a reset. Or also fast push-ups, sit-ups, yes, like very fast. Also make you feel so physically tired. But again, you release these emotions and you just can take better decisions and have maybe more useful and beneficial thoughts.
So maybe technically people should also go to gym. So that can also help them a lot.
Any day. I mean, if you're physically fit, then you are mentally fit at some point of time. That's very correlated to each other. But tell me one thing, let's go on a reverse engineering process. I want to understand, what if somebody is not working on their fear? For example, there are some unresolved fear, right? You know that you fear to situations, you get scared of maybe stage performances or presentations, but you have never worked upon that scenario. Then what bad it could bring to your mind and thought process?
Well, that people usually avoid such situations, of course, but the problem that with such situations they might avoid beautiful opportunities, like nice moments, like possibility that they might have if they just stepped in, if their fear would be 1% less than their desire to try it, to switch, to do something new, different. So they avoid such opportunities, of course, and they might definitely not feel very good, let's say it like this politely, in such situations, because it might happen to them over and over again. And even from that experience, they can still learn, because the best thing to understand fear, to cope with fear, is to learn, to improve your mind that we survived. That now we're alive. It was scary, but we survived. It's the best. None of techniques or exercises will be better than this one, because your nervous system needs real evidence, and that will be it. So unfortunately, they might not really learn from such experience. And then it's like over and over again, coming to either feeling bad, might even feeling worse mentally or physically. I would say that's really bad outcome, because it's not nice. Nice and not good to feel that way. Again, avoiding like maybe even simple gatherings, events, opportunities, etc. And in worst case, it can be just some maybe severe when it comes to real physical or mental illness. So that's why it's really important to pay attention, to yourself, to your mind, to your health, try different techniques, at least listen to podcasts, webinars, books, at least something, just step by step. And once you're ready, once your mental health is more open for something new, that person definitely will find either specialist or supportive group or good friend, or something else, and life will start becoming brighter and brighter. If you don't do it, it's not like this.
So normally, like, we talk about fear, right? And everyone wants to run away from fear. That's like, this is the scenario for every and each person, as I know. But you worked in minefield area, right? And there, fear is important, right? And how you actually differentiate, like, what fear is good for you and what fear is bad for you. We know the basic thing, like, yes, if something is warm, if you touch, it will be like bad. But how you can maybe differentiate in your daily scenarios that when you were working in minefield, like maybe that fear was important and it's necessary, and here fear is not important, it's not necessary. Can you explain us?
Yeah, that's actually the core nature of fear. So there are two types of fear. One, we need to survive. Yes, exactly. When car is driving towards us, wild animal, or some dangerous situation, we need to be afraid. So we protect ourselves. We do something to somehow escape it. And the second one, which you mentioned, is exactly about fear of judgment, fear of failure, all this thought that what if. And that's what really ruins our life or poisons it. That maybe everything's fine, but then we got this thought, these feelings, and it's becoming gray, not beautiful, colorful. So that's when we need to differentiate, like, is it exactly now direct threat for my life or health or not? If not, okay, that's something I should work on. I should find a way, find a specialist, and do something about it. If I want to. Maybe I like it, maybe I don't want to do anything about it, also fine. So if it's not direct threat to your health and life, we have to do something about it. But sometimes people may mistaken fear and panic because it's not the same.
Kind of same, no?
There is no clear-cut boundary between anxiety means or depression, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. So speaking about panic, or like you mentioned before, minefields, there are everywhere in such type of areas of work, specific algorithms of actions. So if something happens, some incident, you have to follow A, B, C, D, E, F, G in order to survive, yes, or help.
Can you give us example how if there is a minefield area and you wanted to know where to go and where not to, how we can do that?
Let's say when I was doing interpreting training of medical evacuation for the miners, I also was so afraid that I deliver something wrong and then they learn in a wrong way of doing something. But the trainer explained that you have to understand and like make it going through you, and then you share with people what you realized. So that really also helped me a lot. And one of the basic things I learned at the time is that first of all, you don't have to run. Of course, first instinct would be to run. If something happens to you, or you see people around you, or you hear explosion, of course, it's maybe to run, most likely, or freeze, typical also, yes. But you shouldn't, because if you speak about minefield, you have no idea where
to run.
Yeah.
Exactly. And even if you speak about the miners who are professionals in cleaning area, still, there are special parts of the land where you can go in the moment and where you cannot, because it is not properly discovered yet. Is everything fine, clean, non-clean, what's going on there? So you cannot run. Otherwise, you put yourself and other people.
And sometimes it happen like they put it some kind of a boards there that there can be mines, but sometimes people skip. And they can't even see this one, and it will be on like different location, and then they reach there.
Basically.
And I seen like some stories where people actually went to those kind of area, and it was a bad situation for them.
True. I also heard from people actually opposite story that, I was there, everything was fine. Like, you're lucky. Because also we need to realize, if you speak exactly about minefield, it's not like everything around can be here, chaotic way. So even now, the Second World War or some other local wars in other countries, people still approach, this unexploded like remnants of war, and they're still dangerous. They can still explode. So we definitely should pay attention to signs. When we ask for a sign and then we get it, we should maybe listen to it. Actually, happen to see it. Like, do not come here. So if you speak about local people, yes, or civilians, of course, they should definitely also learn what to do. And that's what I was doing like many years ago. And basically, they, in the end, understood what to do and what not to do, because most of the cases they were wrong about what shall I do? Shall I run? Shall I scream? Shall I call? What shall I do? Shall I walk around, go back? So you need to learn algorithms. And in such life or death situations, you need to follow them. Even though, of course, your brain might shut it down and you might be panicking. It might be completely different you in such a stressful moment, because in stressful moments, you don't have time to pretend. So you don't have time
even to prepare yourself. Think rationally. It's like very hard for people.
Exactly. In stressful moment, indeed. And it's like your true nature comes in. And then either it's, for example, you save someone, or you save yourself, or you freeze, or you run. Like, you can be different. So I definitely don't recommend to put yourself in such situations, to train yourself, not really. There are definitely ways to understand better in safe environment. Yes. And let's say, first of all, exercises. Yes. And maybe, let's say, not friendly, but entertaining ways. Maybe when you have some group sport, or this, how it's called, no, not ping pong, paintball. If you speak about such things where it's kind of entertaining, but still kind of dangerous. Yes, you already can see your reactions if you want to test them and understand them better. Or recall some situations in your life. You definitely all been through something stressful, maybe something dangerous, where we had to take a quick decision. And at that moment, we did what we could the best. So I believe you cannot become like perfect soldier or a robot, nor machine. You will still be yourself. It's just, if you notice that something bothers you, that's a sign you should pay attention to that area of your life and find a way or people to help you work with it.
Oh, actually, I got very practical question. Tell me one thing, if somebody just got trapped into that fear and collapsed, you could be in a meeting room or you could be presenting something, but you just got feared, and then some eyes are just pointing on you, and the people around you are not so positive or not taking you in a very positive way. So you get fear because of that as well. And now you're freezed, you're collapsed, and you think you cannot make yourself comfortable and you cannot rise up or have the courage to stand again and give the presentation. Now, from this point, can somebody using these techniques rise up and again give that and again get that courage to come back?
Well, depends on the individual person. Yes. So we're all different and different capacity of changing, adapting, being more flexible, being more brave at some point. So the best thing I would say is called gradual exposure therapy. It's mostly working about phobias, but even here or when I work with clients, I don't tell them, okay, you cannot speak at the meeting now. Tomorrow you tell your boss to, I get fired, thank you.
Like, yeah, I came to for learn, but I learned something else.
So otherwise it would not work like that. And coaching would be illegal activity at all. But that's why you need to go slowly, step by step. For example, also another exercise which can be applicable to different situations, even this one, I will explain now how exactly. It's called minimum 100% maximum. So not like one plan. I talk to my manager. It's like scary, like when, no, maybe I shouldn't. Divide it, like cut it a bit. So minimum, let's say, next time on the meeting, I say one word, like agree, I don't know, thank you, goodbye, something, you learn to speak. And again, you see that you survived. Okay, everything's fine. I survived. No one attacked me. No one has eaten me. It's fine. Next time you speak a bit more. You maybe ask a question. Maybe you give one comment, a bit like a baby, really, one by one, step by step. So that's how you learn that you're actually capable of this by expanding it a bit. In some time, of course, you'll be able to speak. You can still be afraid, of course, but everything comes with experience. That's just one by one.
So basically, summing it up, I think gradually moving towards a bigger picture.
Yeah.
Take one day at a time, just one word at a time. Something sort of small communication at a time that will help you. This happens in general life as well, right? In everything, you should take one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I feel like, especially when it comes to coaching, right? Like to coaching anything, we heard like it's like very unregulated area, like teaching someone, right? So as it comes to fear and anxiety, do you maybe, I want to know your experience or your understanding on that. Like if someone is pretending to be a coach, for example, right? Anyone can create now ChatGPT something out of it, right? And make themselves look like, oh, I'm a mere fear or anxiety teaching coach. And how we can differentiate between these two different kind of coaching. One that is fake and pretending, and it can be very harmful as well for person.
Because you may be misguided and of scope that wrong education, and you will perceive that as the biggest learning.
And I seen with the psychology it happened with someone that she went to some psychologist, and this psychologist was saying her that you are fine, everything is fine with you. And she was stalking someone, and they were saying like, yes, you are stalking someone, very good, you should do that.
Really?
Yeah. And this woman was like on social media coaching. That's a thing now. So she was a social media coach, and she had around like 50 people, and she was teaching everyone wrong things. And everyone was coming on social media and telling like, this guy is in love with me, but she was the one who was stalking this guy. It's a very big story in US. So I wanted to know like how to make ourselves safer,
Spot the
real person, like to be just sure like this coach is educated one and can teach me better.
Yeah, good question. And it doesn't always relate only to coaches. It can be about doctors. for example.
As well, yeah.
And they really might have even education degree, or something, but still harm people. Still do it sometimes even intentionally. And yeah, we live in a very tricky world where you don't really know whom to trust. So of course, I would not say just trust your instincts, but because still our gut feeling and instincts sometimes lead us to
different way.
Yes, but about coaching, for example, there are different certifications around, say, ICF, non-ICF, and it depends also on how and not popular, but how professional you want to get it. Also, how much money and time you are ready to invest. So you definitely should have certain certification, because that's where you learn techniques. That's where you learn more about different type of clients, how to communicate with them. Also, you practice in the group. So you are like not trainee, a client, you're like client, coachee, or you become coach, or you become observer and you give feedback. So it's also hours of practice before you're allowed to even talk to people, because there is a very wrong perception about coaching that it's about motivation and just do it. No, just do it. It's Nike motto. Yes, coaching is not about
Yeah, that's so true. I was actually a victim of this thing because I didn't had that much maybe like this kind of like I was taking motivation because I was not feeling confident. So I was feeling like I don't have enough confidence. So I was taking motivation and I was doing stupid stuff because motivation means like it motivates you for a while, right? And this feeling goes away after some time. You watch video, you feel too motivated, like, yes, tomorrow I will do this thing. And next day it's gone. So I think this thing, like, even though if you want to feel confident, like for speaking, you have to start from a little things, as you explained.
I
So-
think personally, I feel motivation is a very fake concept. Why? Because you can be motivated at the moment and then you can be demotivated at the
next moment.
just next moment when you were motivated. I think consistency and discipline, I think even when you try to build up against fear, then it's discipline and consistency that no, I can do this. What you said rightly, that you can take one step at a time, small conversation, and then you can go to a bigger picture of conversation where you have enough confidence because you have spoken for a long time and then you knew that you already survived that communication, to know how was the experience there and what different perspective you came across.
So when my country already was, facing like military, conflict and war, I would say in general, it already became quite a topic in the society about helping internal displaced people. And I was still, let's say, young, if I can say so, because I was still just graduating from university. And I found an opportunity online is to help as an intern in communication department. And at that moment, so I joined, I was chosen there, and it was the best experience that I had. And after that, I realized that I want to continue helping people somehow, helping children maybe. And that's how my humanitarian career started, when I was trying to do something useful to my co-citizens in that moment. And eventually it led me to Mine Action, where I end up training people how not to explode, yes, how to be safe in dangerous areas, around dangerous items. And like since then, I also switched some jobs, but then again, life put me back. Then I joined the United Nations Development Program. Before I mentioned, it was UNDP, even though I did not plan to get back ever to that area, but life has different plans. And I believe it was also one of the best choices of my life. And I managed before full-scale invasion to, again, join the area, to be in that area with people, to observe also how other organizations work and deliver information. And I really hope that no one has ever needed it, but most likely some of the thousands of people might even use it before because of what's happening now. The scalability is way larger than it used to be before.
So what's happening with Ukraine right now, if we ask?
It's even worse than it was before.
So how's your family in Ukraine? Is it all good?
Well, alive, I would say, yes. But of course, devastated with everything. And like even half a year ago, my house also was struck. But luckily they were alive. Maybe also like not time. That's why it happened in light way, so that they're alive. And it was like damage of the house, but they're okay. And that's the most important thing. But it's pretty tough because there is no like some ending. You cannot see, you cannot know, you don't know the deadline, how longer you have to cope with it. And that's why people now also in worse condition mentally, because when it's something fast or short or okay, maybe now and then we'll be fine, you can cope.
Yeah.
But it's like unstoppable or no ending. I see that people, of course, suffer worse and worse. And that's pretty, like, not even sad, because that's not correct word. That's really heartbreaking.
Yeah.
See, when it's not me somewhere, the east of Ukraine, helping people with now my family, my loved ones,
Relatives, yeah.
Yes.
And sometimes it happened like, because I remember when this war happened, everyone was thinking like, no, it's not real. Because it never happened. War thing, it was like we were hearing like, yes, in only east part of the world, it's only happening there. And but when I listen about it, like this is happening, there were so many people coming from there. They will needed space. I think Poland opened door for them, so that was very nice of them. When you got to know first time that there is a war happen, how was your experience with that? I'm so sorry I'm asking that, and I'm reminding you this part of your life, but I think it will give hope to other people to be positive, because you are not alone. There are many other people and they went
Who
through
came out of war
yeah,
maybe
so
and
they went
started
through it, and
lives again.
yeah, so give us a little example.
Yeah, so as I think mentioned before, that we actually already had war, but on the eastern part of Ukraine since 2014, so it wasn't something new. And myself, I went to work in that area when it was completely fine in the capital, unlike it is now. And when we already started having news and information, from different secret services, from different countries, like guys,
Yeah,
stuff was going on, prepare. Me and I think not even any of my friends believed that it will really happen. It was like, no, it's just panicking. It will not happen. No way. And in that first night, yes, like early morning, I got call from my mother, and also I remember switched on vibration on my phone, just in case.
yeah.
And I got call, and she said that war started. I'm like, oh, you're just panicking. No, woman, no. I don't want to go to the other part of Kiev. Everything's fine. It's not happening. But then I got call from my friend, and let's say she was a trusted source of information, and she said, okay, move maybe to your parents. Yes, like go somewhere. Like, okay, I shall. I would still not believe. I was still thinking like it will, end soon, few days maybe.
Yeah, like everyone was thinking in Poland, like
Something going on, like, let's say big guys, check who is coolest. It will stop soon, like few days. That's it. And maybe I believed just when I heard first explosions myself. Oh, that's when I believed already. Like first, this whistles of rockets and things, because before on the east I did not hear rockets. It wasn't like that. It was different context. And that's when I believed. That's when I'm like, okay, it's really bad. And I would say the worst thing about all that is that it's like point of no return. You understand that things will not be the same anymore.
yeah,
Like your country,
Your living lifestyle, everything. I can already see some emotions in your eyes. It's very sad, and we really have all the good wishes for the people living there. But how are they coping? I mean, are they not questioning to the authorities, because there is no time scale, there is no timeline when is it going to end up? So are they not questioning the authorities, or what's happening? Even if they're questioning, there is no response, or nobody is will action. What is happening there? How are people responding to all these things happening there?
saying the best they can now, because it's all different now. There is no that much strength and any type of resources to like question anything anymore. People just really focus on surviving, basically.
yeah,
When you don't have proper sleep, when you don't have proper certainty about your kid's future, or where is your husband or son, you really don't care that much about something else. You focus more on how to just go on with another day. But I would say, in order not to change this topic into some political discussion, that it's basically a question whether, as a state, we give up and we just let ourselves be occupied and we agree that we don't have right to exist as a separate country for so many years, already we are, or we just keep going. We continue doing our best to survive and to just have some future for our families and loved ones.
Basically, I mean, the ones who are still struggling or fighting there, they don't know if they will be able to see that freedom in front of their eyes or not. So it is like a sacrifice for life. So are really people ready to sacrifice for life? Is it so?
Cannot answer for all. Some people maybe can and choose, and I believe we already lost best ones for that. Some people don't really have choice. some people or even children, they don't have any choice. No one asks them. They just sleep. And then the next day they don't wake up. So don't really know how to answer this question to you. It's just such a devastating situation that, our grandparents used to say that whatever happens, just not war. So unfortunately, me and my country, we experience it now, we face it. And I can say the same, whatever, just not war. So I'm just really impressed by our people resistance. And even after heavy nights, even when they don't have their apartments or businesses anymore, they still keep going. They still try to work, to go on because they don't have a choice or luxury to just rest or sorry, I will go to sleep.
Yeah.
Not an option.
And I think in Poland, even though people were helping here, but there was two type of people. One was complaining about it and one was actually helping. When you were listening, because your country is going through this thing, right? Because it's for me, if someone is doing with me, I would be also not very happy with that, because I heard from some people that on Facebook, some people was writing so bad comments. And after reading that, and some people actually, Polish people, they reply them back. And that was a unique thing about Polish people, I think. Some people was not very happy that a lot of things are going to, and government is helping so much to Ukrainian people, but they're not helping that much to Polish people. And there was continuously one topic was coming up. Sorry, I'm putting you in this support. But there was one topic coming up all the time that when there was a war, they were killing us. But now they have a war and we are supporting them. And the people actually was replying there on social media. And that was for me, listening that, it was feeling like there are always two type of people who support each other or who doesn't. Did you get maybe some experience about this way or not, from a negative or positive comments about it?
Comments, of course. Whole internet is about bad comments, to be honest, because it's such a safe place for people to actually complain, to show how unhappy they are, but just to project it on someone else as if I would feel better in a few seconds. Not really. But personally, I haven't, faced anything bad, anything negative towards me. And wherever I was, everyone was friendly, open, helpful, kind. And I believe there are different situations. Of course, I can't speak for all. It's just, let's look back at the history. Germany, yes, used to be world's enemy. Now Germany was one of the best supporters along all other countries.
Mistakes, please. And that's the best example a country can learn from themselves only.
Exactly. So I would say probably if I can also, make some philosophical insights or whatever you name it from hardships, is that you always have a choice inside of you to choose what more, say, bright side,
Positive side,
side, or negative one. Yes, and once you choose, then you make certain actions. Then you either hate, or you actually choose to maybe somehow improve your life or life of people around you. Or as I mentioned, when people have hard night, they still show up, they still make coffee, even their coffee bar is completely collapsed and damaged. They still smile. So I think it's a choice. And we as individuals, and then we are as countries, we make this choice every day. And probably that's the meaning of life, but it's my subjective opinion about that.
And I think majority of people actually supporting Ukraine and the issues what happened with war.
Do you feel welcomed here?
Well, I would say I feel Krakow like my second home. I really got in love with this city so much, and I never been in Poland before. To be honest, I never planned to move, from my own country, to be honest. But circumstances changed, and then me and my sister and nephews, we moved around a bit. We were also for some months in France, And then I got relocated from my previous job here. So it was less like this, this week we are in this country, then okay, we're already moving here. So it was such an unpredictable, uncertain time that I also hated. But what could I do about that? I just had to somehow believe the flow or believe higher purpose or just let it be, okay, I will decide according to what comes next.
Do you feel like if this war will finish, you will go back to Ukraine or no?
That's a tough question, because with what's going on in the world in general, we can see that countries we used to think are the safest, not really safe anymore. Speaking about Middle East, for example. So I cannot speak about such unforeseen future. Currently I'm here. Yeah, and it's been 4 years. As I say, currently I'm here.
It's been like one day.
So I really cannot answer where I will end up. I believe in our world now we really have to be flexible, and see what's going on where. Climate change, natural disasters. Someone becomes crazy again. So we have to check what's going on. It's not put in our heads in the sand, like ostrich or something, but understand what's going on. Okay, where is safe? Where is better for my family or children if you have some, and make best decisions for yourself. And sometimes best decisions is not about moving to best country. Sometimes it's go back home for some people and understand why they do it, because home is home. Whatever happens, it still feels way different than any other better country in the world. So I will see. Yes, I will make decisions according to what comes next.
You mentioned you have your parents back home, right?
I have mostly everyone at home, actually.
Do you visit them from time to time?
Yes, I try to do at least twice a year. Like next week also, I'm coming from the day that we do this podcast. I don't know when it will be out, but I come, and it's actually pretty severe now that my mom asked, maybe you shouldn't come. Like, of course I go home. I don't go to work, I go home. So there is some illusion that at home everything will be fine. That I don't know. I'm like little baby under blanket. Nothing bad happens. Unfortunately, it does, and I will do my best to be safe, of course. But it looks pretty devastating.
But how travel look like actually?
Yeah, I was about to ask, like, is the situation more worse, or it is going to the arena of betterment? But you already answered that question. Do you miss your loved ones?
Of course. Of course, I'm in contact with them, with parents every day, of course, with my friends also, like from time to time, or especially after heavy strikes. I ask if everyone is alive, and is everything's fine, because not everything in the news. For example, about our home was not in the news because there were in the news many other homes that got damaged way more. So you don't.
But is it in? You live next to the main capital or somewhere else?
Yeah, I'm Kiev.
So have you administered any blast or any sort of attacks?
Could you please repeat?
Have you administered? Is your home was any sort of blast, under some blast or something like that?
Yes, it was a drone that fell.
Oh, would you like to share that details, maybe?
Yes, I will get back to this now. So answering that, I miss, yes, I visit, yes. And I really, wish they were not in such circumstances. Like if it was me, like back then, yes, it was fine. And I did not tell my parents where I go, what I do. And I said, nothing is dangerous there. But when it's vice versa, and it's my parents, loved ones, my nephews now also, it's really extremely sad to see them going through all these situations. Or my friends giving birth, and their children are raised also in this. So answering your question, I was here, yes, and also I was waiting for my new documents, so I couldn't just go right away. I did not even plan to go at that time back home. I had other plans, but I just got a text from my sister, who was not with them at that moment. She was at her apartment with nephews, and sometimes they come visit. So that's why I give this context that she was not with them, but she wrote me that our home got struck, that parents are alive, that there is this huge funnel in the garden, and there are no windows. They just got, broken. And of course, when I saw it, my immediate reaction was to call, because I didn't know if she was with them. I called mother, and my mother answered. So she was, of course, in different mood, so she couldn't explain me properly. But she said, yeah, everyone is alive. I heard father in the background, saying some joke as usual, this, what keeps him, I think, in this life is some sense of humor. And then I called my sister and she said, yeah, of course, I arrived. And then my friends offered to come, but of course I wanted to be there and I couldn't. It's also why that my typical stress response is fight. It doesn't mean that I attack people. No, fight is also when you want to approach the situation or danger. So of course I wish I was there, to go and check what's going on, but I couldn't. I was waiting for my documents. So it was like, okay. And that actually got also some delayed stress response in my body. I would say
Like what?
Severe one that I had. I started having issues with sleep. I started having tachycardia. Of course, loss of appetite, loss of weight. Like you can imagine, you just been through and hell and back. That's how it felt. Yeah. And 2 weeks later, I found out that one of my friends died also, just because of heart attack. I mean, she left in Kyiv, so I believe if conditions were different, she definitely would.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you so much. But it's like too much, like this, 2 weeks, this. I'm like, really? Like, okay, what's next? So it was really complicated time of my life, I would say. And at the same time, it made me so honest. As I said before, do you remember, you in situations like this, you don't have like desire or time to prepare, to pretend, to lie.
Yeah.
You become so true to yourself. And that's when I also made certain decisions in my life. One of them was to make a surprise visit home. And my mother said later on that it was the best action. Return her to life.
But how's their daily life look like?
Well, most likely no sleep at night. Probably being in the basement of the house because of strikes. And sometimes it can be that severe that it can be a bit shaken house or like this. So
Every day? This happens every day?
Not every night. Sometimes can be a few nights in a row. And let's say a few nights calm, then again a few nights. So it's different. There is no calendar of strikes. Like at least you could plan your life then. But no, it can be different. And sometimes we have information like, guys, be ready. Night might be hard because there are already some dislocation of rockets somewhere. But sometimes no, it can be different, especially with drones. The one which fell in my house. So most likely it's no sleep, proper sleep, or even if it's sleep, I think it's not the same sleep like they used to have before.
You have to be anxious all the time, like what's gonna happen.
What's the sound?
Yeah. And what about groceries and so on? Like from where they buy, or is grocery stores are working fine?
We have even actually a few days ago, like Russia bombed some major storages of Ukraine with different foods, different groceries, different items, equipment, different things. There's basic things for humans, for people, for everyday life. So normally there are, of course, you can imagine prices raised up heavily. But for now in Kyiv, they can find like food and everything. And life somehow tries to go on. People still manage to go out if they can, or even soldiers, if they have some leave, of course, if they can and want and have families, also want to be a bit out of this reality and go to theater maybe, or somewhere else. But it's not the same because you're always alert. You have to see what's going on, what's flying over, where to hide, where is the nearest underground or something to be safe. So it's not just normal life as it should be.
So when you are traveling to now Ukraine, right? So can you take some stuff from here from Poland to Ukraine, or there is restrictions? Like for groceries and so on?
Yeah, some things I can, but some not. Of course, there are like official rules, what is allowed and not allowed to bring in. Yeah. So we just follow.
Border rules, basically, sheets and all those.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, like, does this change your perspective towards life? Because we have not been in such typical situations, so I can only imagine. I cannot understand or actually feel that. Yeah. But you are just administering it very closely with your loved ones, that what is happening around the world, especially with Ukraine. But all these things just change your scenarios towards life, seeing towards life.
Does it make you like fearless or feared all the time?
Good question. I haven't thought about it.
I'm sure there might be some change in thought process. I want to know that change.
Of course, it definitely switched my perspective from what's important to what's not important. And probably I divide things in my daily life into two categories: important, not important, or life threat, no life threat. Let's say, of course, I also experienced some worries or some corporate moments, yes, at work. And it's fun. It makes me actually feel alive. Like, okay, like life goes on, I just worry about some, I don't know, meeting or something else. Like, great. Because when you worry about your life, it's worse.
It's worse, yeah.
I better experience this one. So I divide it. And really, if I get a new day with no bad news from my loved ones, I feel it's already a great day. Okay, so perfect. Because I know how it feels to get bad news. So when it's not bad news, like perfect, amazing, great day, life goes on. So of course, it shifts a lot my vision at I would say values also, because also when war started, many people showed their true colors. As you mentioned, yes, some random people, they don't know you, they could help a lot. Like countries, open borders, like coming to help you. And maybe some people you saw they're close to you, they acted completely rudely or unexpectedly bad towards you. So we're, wow, really?
What something happened to you specifically?
Like, let's say, not getting into details, that then you expect support.
Yeah.
For example, and support means at least like, I'm with you. What do you need? If you need anything, let me know. Basic phrase. I may not ever ask anything, but something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine. Or you'll be fine. Or no, go to basement, find something. Or like my friend got killed. Like, well, that was happened yesterday. Like, it just was yesterday, while you said today.
Really?
Yes, I'm like, really? It was yesterday, exactly. So
some people actually cope with stress differently. Yeah, some people actually laugh when they are stressed. Yeah. Some people actually be brutal when they are stressed. I think it's depend on person to person.
It's different. We are not all empaths, not all empathetical, not all can actually feel another person. However, like different people show their different characters and stress response at the same time. So I hope that's a question already about my perspective, yes, and vision. So yeah, definitely it shapes a lot, and it makes every day, every new moment appreciate more, to be honest. Especially again, when your loved ones are alive, you can talk to them, you can see them, you can touch them. It's the best, really. And I wish people understood how lucky they are when they have this ability, because not everyone understands and we take it for granted. We all actually, we take things for granted.
Yes, we do.
That's why I asked this question, because when we started this conversation and we asked you what is fear actually, so I think now our listeners know what is actually fear. So if you are afraid of if you're not afraid of your life, believe me guys, you are in luxury only somewhere.
Yeah. And my father always actually say this line, because whenever I stress about when I was school, I was stressed about my studies, I was stressed about every single small thing. And my father said all the time to me, if you are stressed, and stress is nothing, my father, this is what because it's an old style, and this is what they think. Like, unless your life is not in danger, everything is good. And my husband actually tend to overthink a lot. And this is the same line I tell him, like, everything gonna be fine. We will manage. We will do it. And you're not dying, right? So everything is fine.
So you become motivational coach.
Yeah, now I think I can open Instagram and try to.
Because that's what's the question: how to define a real coach from fake one.
No, I'm a fake one.
You cannot say it. Yeah. No, normally, yes, of course, you have to have some education. But as adding to this, what you just mentioned, I would say that we should not also, like, diminish these worries that we have or other fears, because everything is valid, and people, like, in different countries, in different circumstances, have different hardships. Even same situation can be treated differently by different people. So one person can be like, okay, whatever, next day. Another person can get depression, like real clinical depression. So that's why we should really care about, like, ourselves, first of all, and everyone around us.
Compassionate, basically.
Yes, exactly. And don't think that we don't need help example, that it's a weakness. That's also wrong perception of people, that if I look for some help, some specialist, I'm weak. Yes, so especially with men. Yeah, they may think that I'm a man, or society demands them to be like a man. Not
They don't even go to doctors. Can you believe? Like, you have to force them to go to doctor.
But I think that's a very, very negative old school idea that if you're a man, you don't need any help. I think being a man needs more help in today's world. Why? Because somewhere women are, I feel, this is my personal opinion, that women are very multitasking type, because they have been taught so from ages. No matter which country you belong to,
And
you are
strong
handling your
support
kids.
system we also have.
No, I mean
With
to say,
friends
like,
as well.
yeah, like you are handling your kid. Now you have entered in a corporate world as well. So you are already doing two things. Then you are handling your home. At the same time, you are handling multiple relationships, like with your parents, with your husband, with your relatives, and blah, blah, blah. So you are already multitasking that thing. But when it comes to men, they are not groomed with this concept of doing multiple things altogether. And now, especially when we are going and entering to the world of nuclear families, we are living more separately, and now you have to handle everything on your own. Then you get into the trap, okay, I cannot do this alone. So I think men still need more help than women, and if you really take that help, then the coordination between men and women is very, very good. And you can see that in the kids as well. They are born and brought up in a very healthy and happy families.
And majority of, I think, guys I know in my circle, they don't have a very strong support system, because when we girls meet, we actually push each other, like we say, like, motivate each other. With guys is like, if you say like, oh, I'm stressed about it, don't give up, don't care about it, it's not
Mostly
a stress, is nothing.
But mostly men will not even come up with this
Or say
real
them.
talk that they are stressed up about something. They will be like, they have a pressure of that in front of the society. You have to be like, no, I'm the man.
You are a guy,
All
you are a
okay.
man. You shouldn't be stressed. You shouldn't have a headache on this kind of things. And even the talking about fear is a big point, because if you ask them like what you are afraid of,
Nothing.
They will never say like, oh, they are afraid of cockroaches or something, right?
But this is like with everybody in general. I have read it somewhere that to say what you're afraid of is the biggest strength in life. Because to come up with your fear out loud is a decision that you will fight that fear. And most of the people cannot do this. Like, if you ask randomly 10 people, what are you afraid of? Then they will not be able to specify, okay, I'm afraid of this thing or that thing. But Ukraine, I would like to just add that Ukraine stands like a light in the dark room. And it gives a lot of inspiration at the same time to the world, that there is a lot of strength in the people. And still, we hope things will get better and better day by day.
And because we want people to feel happy, especially in their own land, and they shouldn't be obligated that they have to go through like in so many restrictions, and they cannot even go to their own house. That's such a, I think, devastating thing. Even though if we think about it, it's very hard for us to even think. And I'm so proud of many Ukrainian people that they are doing that, and their family, they are living apart from their family. It's not easy thing to do. And thank you so much for coming and talking about it, because I think many people who will be watching us, it can kind of give them a hope that they are not alone, and hope this thing will end soon.
And we started this conversation, guys, with the concept of fear. So I think the ending note could be, for me, it is a biggest lesson that a small country like Ukraine is standing very tight, very strong, and still have that strength to fight. And not only to fight, to rise and come up with their own strengths. So if a situation like this, and they can come up with the fear, they can fight with the fear. So guys, believe me, we don't have enough reason to even cry about. So let's be positive about things. And if we really need help, let's reach out to coaches like her that will help us out and bring us more and more powerful.
And before we finish our interview, I wanted to ask a last question. If someone watching us today and they are in fear of unknown, that's the biggest fear I think people are nowadays facing. And fear of unknown, how they can overcome, and what can actually help them?
Well, I would say embrace it. because we really live in very uncertain times. And maybe at some part of the world, some people can be afraid, can be sure, can be confident, can be scared. That you don't really know about what coming tomorrow, even if you think you do.
Yeah.
So maybe some people live even in some illusions, and it makes them feel better also. However, as I also said before, that can be also natural disasters, yes, or anything actually. Maybe aliens one day will come, like, oh, hello, humans. So I would say that focus probably on different type of planning. For example, plan A, like when something goes just not according to plan, what shall I do?
Mhm.
It can be related to your work, can be related to your life, to any area in your life. Plan B, yeah, also, okay, if something doesn't go well, worse, badly, let's say, then what? And plan C, when it's about real basic survival. So let's say, like in Ukraine, if there is something, do I have power bank? Do I have, I don't know, contacts? Do I have some medical kit?
Yeah.
So it's like 3 different layers when something goes wrong. And I don't encourage people now to be panicked and go and buy the groceries and some these survival kits or something.
It happened recently. We received some kind of a letter from Polish government to prepare for war, and I think we by ourselves we were scared about
We
it.
were scared
Because you have to prepare everything, and for me it was very stressful because they give us a whole manual where to hide, what to do. And for
really, I didn't notice.
I received this manual at home, and I was showing my husband like, is there going to be something happening in Poland as well? Should we go somewhere? Or he's like, no, I want to fight for my country. I was like, Miha, we cannot do that. But the thing is that like we received this like pamphlets from government. I think they did it in 2026, the starting of the year.
Yeah, I remember the thing which we are talking about, but that was more like
manual. And I was like,
manual,
why
SOP.
they send a manual when there is not going to be a war? Like it's like a
We talked
preparation.
about that, right? Yeah, we were
See.
Yeah, plan C. Yeah.
just in case.
You say you're on bunker somewhere with all the supplies that you need. So, well, let's say in the nearest future,
Mhm.
if everything should be fine, then normally, just it's normal to have some cash basically at home. Some supplies of water, just in case something happened, like I don't know.
I wanted to actually ask a question because you said cash. In scenario like war, it happened in Ukraine, right? So this cash flow, it probably currency decline, no? Like you cannot buy anything with this same currency. Or does it?
It doesn't work like this. You can, of course, you can buy it, but you can imagine first days.
Rates might be.
ATM, people all wanted to extract money, of course. So that's why it's better to have some cash always, to have some, I don't know, water, food for a few days.
From ATM, kind of.
Yes. So just to have something for a few days in case of blackouts, in case of some power, I don't know, outrage, natural disaster, something. So just basically what we
be prepared.
Yes, as a society in 21st century, just have to have on the daily basis in general. Because if we have this luxury of being naive and believe in flying unicorns, well, life can hit hard. So, like, let's say even in, as I mentioned before, country in the Middle East, like in Emirates or something like that. So just in order not to be faced when, I don't know, your card got declined and you need to buy something, just get some cash, some basic things, but plan according to what comes. So be prepared. You have interview, prepare for interview. You don't have interview, don't stress yourself with what happened if I fail interview. I don't even have, but I will have in 1 month, maybe somewhere. Like, why you do that? Yes, of course, it's easier to say than to do. However, prepare to what comes next.
Yeah.
And I would also trust in yourself that you will handle whatever comes, and trust in whoever people believe, in some higher power, God, or depends on like people believe. Just trust that there is something wiser than you that might actually prepare for you something better, even if now you face an obstacle or you face some challenge, some hardship. Maybe there will be something better after that. But of course, you have to trust to see that through. Even in the moment, you might be completely blind and be just focused on how bad things are.
Thank you so much, Anastasia, for joining us
Thank you.
today.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the conversation we have today here. I think it will going to help me personally as well, and viewers who are going to watch us.
It was a lovely pleasure
Yeah.
that we had you as our guest today. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you, sir.
invitation, and I hope really that some of my information might, at least somehow helps a person out there who will.
It will indeed.
Yeah, it will.
And
So-
let's just learn from each other.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anastasia, everyone, for joining us today. And we will be having more episodes like this, and amazing guests like Anastasia. And you're going to meet and learn a lot from our podcast. I hope so. And please write us your comments, your suggestion, and we actually read each and everything. So we will definitely reply you. And thank you so much for watching us.